Welcome to In My Opinion. It is said that everyone is entitled to their own opinion, regardless of how you or I may see or view it. Some things we will agree with, and some we will outrightly disagree with. Some may spark a conversation, or God forbid, some may even spark an argument. But regardless which way the wind blows, like you, I am entitled to my opinion. My name is Tony Bogle, and agree or disagree, welcome to my opinion. Feel free to let yours be heard. Ask any Jamaican, or better yet, ask any non-American, to give you an update on what is happening in the United States presidential race, and I am almost 100% sure that they will utter something to the tune of, "Oh, they tried to kill Donald Trump the other day." And right away we'll be quick to give you a breakdown of an incident that they either got second, third, or fourth hand, with their own embellishments added. I am not a gambling man, but that is a bet I would take any day of the week. And sadly, in the same breath, I can also guarantee that 99.9% of those same individuals would not be aware of one of the latest, more damning judgments ever handed down by the Supreme Court regarding legal immigration to the United States. Take a listen.
There was a Supreme Court case today
Yes.
where the 6-3 conservative majority on the Supreme Court ruled that you do not have the right to give a green card to your spouse. If
Right.
you marry a spouse who's from another country, they don't automatically get a right to green card. Amy Coney Barrett wrote that while the right to marry is fundamental, the right to live with your spouse is not.
Yeah.
That was the 6-3 conservative court today. And of course, I'm reading the case screaming, Melania,
Right.
Melania, like as I'm reading the case, because the exact rule that Trump used to bring Melania and her whole family over to this country is what the Supreme Court said was not a fundamental right today.
Right.
That was 6-3. That was 3 Republican justices that were appointed by Trump at the very time where this is
Many
all
of
happening.
whom are also the grandchildren or children of immigrants. But isn't it a fun world of we live in?
There you have it. You heard it yourself. But just in case you didn't understand or get the gist of the matter, let me break it down for you in layman increments. In short or in tall, the days of getting married to an American citizen, and in a few months you become eligible for a temporary green card, and from there it's home free. Those days are over. It matters not if the relationship and love is real or not. That process is over. In other words, so are the days of paying someone to marry someone else so they can get a green card. Those days are over. Relationship migration, over. Business marriage migration, over. In other words, the fat lady has sung, with almost every poll, and down to even The Simpsons, predicting that Donald Trump will be the next American president. There is little doubt that this law will be enforced to the fullest, especially with it being a Republican trumpeted bill with a Republican president in office. So yes, the fat lady has sung, and is making her exit from the building. In the most diplomatic of ways, maybe the best way to describe what the pending outcries will be is kitschy. And with reason, but regardless of the reason or reasons, what's done is done. And this is already a done deal, so get ready for the aftermath once this new reality takes effect and the awareness kicks in. Some may say it's ludicrous to pass a law of this nature, but on the contrary. A country has the right to pass any law that they deem fit for the security and development of said country, which is exactly what this law is aimed at doing. Fortifying the security of the country and closing another loophole that has been open for way too long. Well, at least if they are to tell it. Truth be told, the arguments for and against this new law are going to be many, but what many will not realize is that the argument of securing the borders of any country is always going to trump whatever argument you are trying to use, because with so many incidents of marriage fraud uncovered over the years, all orchestrated to obtain legal status in the United States, from the lawmaker's perspective, all they are doing is closing a door that has been open for way too long. And like in war, where there is collateral damage, the same is true in this case when it comes to real relationships opposed to the fraudsters. So the door gets closed and the good suffers with the bad, collateral damage. It's that simple. Sounds harsh, but this is the reality of the world. Not everything is going to be perfect and not everyone is going to agree, but regardless, leaders have to do what they have to do in order to maintain the stability, security, and a future for their country. Again, exactly what the United States will claim when the cries become loud enough. And if we are to be honest, can we blame them? Nearly 100 charged in massive marriage fraud scheme, read the headline on the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services website. Release date, May 14, 2019. In other words, this is not a new issue, but instead it has been a long-standing one. Houston. A total of 50 people are now in custody following the return of a 206-count indictment alleging varying roles in a large-scale marriage fraud scheme, announced U.S. Attorney Ryan K. Patrick, along with Special Agent in Charge Mark Dawson of Immigration and Customs Enforcement's Homeland Security Investigations and District Director Tony Bryson of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. The federal grand jury returned the massive indictment April 30, 2019, charging 96 individuals. To date, law enforcement has taken 50 into custody. Of those, 9 are set to appear for a detention hearing before U.S. Magistrate Judge Nancy Johnson at 10 a.m. today. These arrests mark the culmination of a comprehensive year-long multi-agency investigation into one of the largest alleged marriage fraud conspiracies ever documented in the Houston area, said Dawson. By working together with our partners from various federal law enforcement agencies, we have sent a resounding message that we are united in our effort to disrupt and dismantle criminal organizations that seek to circumvent U.S. law by fraudulent means. According to the charges, each beneficiary spouse entered in an agreement with Diane, 53, of Houston, who headed the Southwest Houston-based organization, and had associates operating throughout Texas and Vietnam. It is alleged that agreements were entered into which saw each individual paying approximately $50,000 to $70,000 USD to obtain full lawful permanent resident status. The agreements were allegedly prorated in that they would pay an additional amount for each immigration benefit they received, such as admission into the United States, conditional permanent resident status, and full lawful permanent resident status. Draconian, maybe, but if the lawmakers are to tell it, they are simply addressing a problem which has been on the books for way too long, and the evidence supports this. Some are going to be quick to say this is a Republican agenda, and maybe so, but it's not without merit. It just comes with stinging implications and after effects, and sadly will affect a lot of legitimate relationships. But again, in the lawmakers' eyes, a law of this nature will close yet another door that needs to be closed. So what does this mean for immigration? Well, in my opinion, most of us already are familiar with the process to obtain a visitor's visa to the United States, which many have their own issue with, but be that what it is or isn't, that will remain an option. Then there is skilled migration, where one obtains a visa by way of their particular skill set or extraordinary abilities, such as athletics, musical, etc. From my observation, those angles will remain open. Well, until the lawmakers decide otherwise, but for now this is how I see it. But one thing for sure, two for certain, the days of marrying for a green card are over, the days of chain migration, over. And although the border is somewhat open for now, in short order, that too will be closed permanently, making illegal access to the United States a literal thing of the past. Well, at least that's the aim. Until some ingenious immigrant find another loophole, which the lawmakers will have to address then. But until then, it is what it is. Another door closed in the faces of impending immigrants. Until next time, stay safe and don't allow the leading headlines to distract you while the real laws that will affect you are being passed into law. Special shout out to one of my subscribers in Dallas, Texas. Dutch B, thanks for the update. Stay trucking, fam. And to everyone else, walk, drive, and ride good. And remember, we are all entitled to our own opinion.